So what do I think about Alex Rodriguez saying that he's a recovering narcissist and um, how he is coming to grips with his personality? Because I was talking about his documentary, which is on HBO, and he was talking about, and some people think he's using this as an ulterior motive to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He should be a Hall of Famer. There shouldn't be no questions asked about it. He's got the numbers, but part of him being an owner of a couple of teams, that the baseball network with his gig, he's definitely making himself more in the next phase of his career palatable for people to like. I think that's something that most athletes who reach a certain pinnacle are usually in the third person. So he's no different than most. And you sense it a lot. It's a me kind of situation. Only a mirror is big enough for one face in one place in space. So, that's not the surprising part. But he came on today's show. He was talking about it. He was talking about what he'd been through. And, you know, some people may think that he's being, some people are going to have a hard time accepting it. Some people are going to look at him and think that he's just, he's trying to run game. It all depends on how you look at it. He came out as a kid when he played a sport where, a lot of expectations, a lot of things are thrown his way. So I think the hardest thing is to be honest about who and what you are and what you did. And he didn't, it's a reality. Do I believe that he can be a recovering narcissist? That's an interesting one. I think that when you've been in the spotlight as long as he has, unless you're talking from a spiritual perspective, because you have to be willing to defer and give up things that no longer matter. So I didn't really hear that aspect of the conversation, you know. I think he's one of the greatest baseball players I ever saw. But we always knew Alex Rodriguez loved him some Alex Rodriguez. So you hear things all the time. Some people because you can't imagine that your favorite athletes are anything different. I always said that he was the baseball version of Kobe Bryant. He had that kind of vibe and attitude. And, you kind of accept that, because very seldom do you get an athlete that who reaches a certain pinnacle that they just kind of like nonchalant, kind of like how Barry Sanders was. Most of them come with, this type of attitude and this demeanor. They tell you that's what you have to be.